Good morning, Hiren.
Hey, good morning, folks. How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Enjoying my time.
Yeah.
Yeah, with family as well as working. So you can
Awesome.
see it's.
So, where are you right now? I can see you're surrounded. You're sitting in greenery. It looks beautiful. So, tell us a bit more about where you're at.
Yeah. See, the COVID has done one nice thing that it actually enough people to move around, right? And I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Week before I left my Bangalore home, because it was all four walls, right, all throughout this 4 5 months. So I move out
Yes.
of that. I decided to move out and thought that I will go to a place where I can enjoy the nature as well as I can work. So I am
Awesome.
at a very remote place in south of Goa, where it's a bit of a rustic setup, but it's very natural. The beach is around 5 minutes away. You get a good network and a co-working space and a super beautiful cafeteria, and you get tea, coffee, whenever you need. So and at night a couple of pints of beer. So
Oh,
so
perfect. It's the
so
perfect holiday.
it's a perfect work holiday.
Working holiday. Yes,
Working
yes.
holiday. Yeah.
And is the coffee how you like it? Because I know you're very picky about your coffee.
I don't, unfortunately, I don't get the cappuccino, but I get the nice masala chai. So I think it's good enough for now.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Oh, there you are with your chai. Awesome. So, Hiren, let's start with the basics. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, see, I am, if I just tell you about myself, I think the basic information all knows about myself, but I'm basically from Rajkot. I born and brought up there with my parents, obviously, and my father was a LIC employee. He's now retired, and got married. Of course, right? Like a regular Gujju family, got married and have two kids now. So my wife Nilakshi, she was a lecturer, and I have two sons now. The elder one Jagrav is 13 years old, and the
Uh-huh.
younger one is Kaivalya, who is 5 years old.
Uh-huh.
And My mother passed away a few years back, but my father and I have my grandmother. He lives with my father lives with my grandmother, who is almost about to reach 100 years old. And
Amazing.
yeah, and I have my bua also. My bua, she's also lives with us in Rajkot. So of course I live in Bangalore for like last 16 17 years. So Bangalore is my
Uh-huh.
primary place now, and the Rajkot is my hometown where my father, my grandmother, and my bua lives. So they live all together in a very nice house. Yeah, yeah. So
Awesome.
that's
So,
about my family, and yeah, and my father is a very good artist and sculpturist. So he is,
mhm,
and at my home he runs a yoga center as well. So.
amazing.
Yeah, so he is super fit, and he's one of the most inspirational guys in my life actually. He's a kind of
Yeah.
friend, and
Awesome.
yeah, so that's about my family. And my wife, she I think she was a lecturer in Bangalore for some years, a few years, and then I think after my two kids were born, one after another, so she left her job, and now she is completely taking care of the family.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So, is that so? With your father being a yoga instructor, is this how your love for fitness started?
I think my that's true actually. My father was, I mean, a very young age. And yeah, I forgot about my sister. So let me finish my some introduction about my sister. So my sister, she lives in Australia and she's a avid traveler. I think she would
Okay.
have, yeah, she's the backpack traveler. I think 6 months
Wow.
she earns, and the rest of the 6 months she travel all around the world, from China
Wow.
to Russia to Mongolia, and she is planning her next trip in Brazil and probably
Wow.
Antarctica. So that is what she is
Uh-huh.
planning her next. But because of the COVID, I think she had to stay back in Australia for now. As
Right.
your question, right? You were talking about my father. Yes, my father. When we grew up, right? My sister and myself, when we grew up, I think he was a tracker. He was a photographer, and he was an artist. So we kind of grew in an environment which encouraged a lot of creativity and adventure. So
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
probably we inherited a bit of him, and yeah, about fitness. So he had been very disciplined in yoga and into fitness. He still goes for,
Right.
like, at 67 of age, he still goes for 10 15 days of very difficult track, and he's like super fit. He can walk 40 50 kilometers. So I
Oh, that's
think
incredible.
yeah, so I think that you said it right, that the fitness is something we saw by an example, right, in a family. So
Right.
uh, we try to follow that naturally.
Awesome. Did you inherit any of his artistic abilities?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was a very good artist.
Okay.
I throughout my schooling, I was like, I got multiple awards in drawing and craft and sports. And after my 12th, I was part of the SEP architecture. Actually, I don't know why did I come to the computer, but I had a natural inclination towards the art. But what happened, my when I was studying my architecture, I had to do the drawing all the time. So then I got
Yeah.
bored,
Yeah.
and I thought, okay, then probably if I need a creativity, then probably computer is also an area that where I can do the creativity as well as the product development. So then I shifted
Right.
to my computer engineering from architecture. But yeah, I mean,
Oh,
that of course I yeah, the art is also inbuilt. And my sister is also, she is an artist. I mean, she loves photography. She's a very good photographer actually, and
yeah.
she's also paints and things like that. Yeah.
Wow. So that's one side of you we've never seen it exact, the creative side. You should give me some of your paintings for Horizon or your
Yeah,
drawings
so
or
I
whatever
think
it is.
yeah, I can gift a few paintings of my father. I don't paint actually for years, and I don't know. I have that skills now. I mean, the professional skills. Of course, I can sketch here and there, but I think I can at least gift a couple of paintings of my father. I mean, which are always very good. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. 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 So you're doing architecture, then you got into, computer engineering. Um, did you find that computer engineering addresses your passion for creativity?
I think so because see, the only thing I moved from, if you see my career in computer engineering also, I started my engineering. Obviously, in engineering, I was not very serious. So before my engineering, I was a very serious student and always, I mean, always the topper in my class. But in engineering, I kind of got bit relaxed and did not take very seriously my study. So, but what happened that I always loved the product development. So when I finished my engineering, I got into a product development firm. That was the only company in whole Gujarat which was a software product development firm, and that was in Baroda. The company
Mm-hmm.
name called Window Maker. And
Okay.
from there, my journey of the product development started. And uh, I think a few years, then I moved to Bangalore, of course, and I was a software
Yeah.
architect. So I designed the
Uh-huh.
product and some of the creative products. And I think I never regretted my decision to move from your your architecture to a software architecture, right? I mean, I always enjoyed my journey in the software product development. And it's a very creative field, right? Of course, it needs a logic, and it needs mathematics and algorithms and all other things, but along with
Right.
that, you can always have creativity and things like that. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So after all the, after a significant amount of experience, you move to Exact. What would you say is Exact's biggest strength?
Yeah, I think I had been part of many organizations, right? Small, big, virtually 5 people to 5,000 people. What I like about Exxat is a very strong focus on the product development, the domain knowledge. I always like the way Aarti and Kunal bring the expertise in the product and the understanding of the domain, because I think in any success, in any good success for any product development firm, it is really required that you understand the domain, and then obviously the translating the domain into the technology or the actual working product is another challenge, and that is also that which I call an execution part, right? Is always a
Yeah.
challenge, and you need a lot of ability, operational ability, development ability, execution ability, and things like that. But what I feel that Exat has a very good product understanding, very niche field, right? Very area. I mean, very niche area where they have built their capabilities. I think that is Exat's very strong point, and
Mhm.
one of the major success criterias, I would say. If we stick to this our expertise, the domain expertise.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right. So, with the with V4 coming up, and our it's quite hectic, I know, for the development team. But
Yeah.
you are known as the calm in the storm. How do you keep so calm, and how do you manage to keep your team motivated and focused in spite of all the pressure that your team is under?
So I don't know who had given this feedback that I remain calm in the storm, but
You.
I think there are two three things, right? Uh, yeah, in most of the situation, uh, if you as a leader, if you are impatient and if you cannot focus on the problem right there at that moment, then probably people around you may also sense that uneasiness and they will not be able to focus, right? So the first thing is understand the problem, understand the situation, then accept the situation, right? So
Right.
that will make you accepting the situation as it is will make you a little calm, right? And say that okay, you can only think about the solution going forward and not the past and all the
Right.
problems in the past, right?
Right.
So that's what the philosophy I live by, that you can control whatever you can control, right? What you cannot
Mm-hmm.
control, you should not be worried about, so that you can only focus on the problem part. And in
Mm-hmm.
software engineering, that is really required, because again the technicality are always complex. There are multiple reasons of the failure. The client is always top of your head. The
Mm-hmm.
expectation is there from the stakeholder. So the only way out is to remain calm, find the solution, and you can only find the solution if you are calm, right?
Right.
If your mind is running around 10 different directions, then you may lose the very subtle point where you have to
Mhm.
focus and things like that.
Right.
So that's what I try to do, and obviously this is not possible all the time, right? Sometimes you also lose your patience and things like
Right.
that, but over the experience you learn that this is the only best way forward, right? So
Right.
yeah. So
Right. Right. How has the work from home situation changed the dynamics for you?
I think if you see the way I associated with Exat, because I always worked remotely, right? Half of the time when I travel between Pune and
Right.
Bangalore,
Right.
half of the time I used to work from home. So for
Right.
me, it was not a drastic change the way I used to work for past
Uh-huh.
1 year, because the past 1 year I was, as I told you, right? I was mobile, kind of 50% mobile.
Yeah.
But then you see what happened, that the other people were in the office when I was mobile last year. So I had a really hard time syncing up with the people, because many meetings happen in the office offline, and then I had to struggle a bit to be in sync with the people, to manage the people, what is going on and things like that. But what happened during the pandemic, that everybody came online, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of become very easy for me to manage it, to be very frank. And what happened, that earlier the people were not, if you see in Exit, there were many people who, for them, the Exit was the first company.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they had never experienced how to work remotely. But a person like me who had been to many companies, I worked with the team in Germany, I worked with the team in US, and the collaborative team. So I know how what it means by working remotely. So
Right.
I struggled a bit initially, but then what happened when everybody came online, it became very easy for me to manage them, because then it becomes very formal. So for
Right.
me, ideally, I, uh, my efficiency or my productivity never compromised working from home. The only thing during the lockdown, you cannot go out and you cannot have fun, right? All the time you have to hold inside your room, and then with two kids, there also online
Yes.
classes is going on.
Yeah.
So it,
Yeah.
it became a kind of challenging with no house, your domestic help and things like that. So it became a bit hectic a point of time, but then you learn how to manage. I mean, so that I never faced it went out of my control.
Right.
Things will remain nice. Yeah.
Right. So if
So
there was one thing you would one advice you would give to people who are struggling with the online work or work from home situation, what is the one thing that we should do to ensure that we are really well connected in spite of working remotely?
yeah, so okay, so the only one challenge when I see working remotely, and so it depends. I mean, what type of challenge people is facing. It can be a different kind of challenges, right? One is that all the time they have to put their headphone on and be on the screen all the time, or they might be missing the people around them, or hanging out with the people during the work, or
Yeah.
they might be missing the whiteboarding, right? Because we used to do a lot
Yes.
of whiteboarding and problem solving. So it
Right.
depends what kind of thing which is being missed. What I miss is basically the sessions of the whiteboarding and some of the problem solving that we used to do collectively. But
Uh-huh.
then, fortunately, I always carry a laptop where I have a pen and my touch screen where I can do whiteboarding, but not all the people that is possible. So
Uh-huh.
I kind of mitigated that part by having the technology with my hand. But if they are facing the other problem, right, that they are missing the people with them, they are missing the environment, because it's very monotonous at home, right? You don't have many people around,
Right.
you don't get to talk and things like that. So for that solution, what I used to do, I have a coffee shop. Even during the lockdown, I used to pick up one cappuccino and
Uh-huh.
go around my apartment, walk a bit during the meeting, be mobile, because the problem with the situation is that all the time you have to sit on a chair, right? So it becomes
Right.
more irritating for you that okay, all the time you are at a single room, and on a single screen.
Yeah.
So you move around, you take your a few of the meetings by just wearing your headphone, go walk around, talk to people
Yeah.
by keeping the social distancing. Play with your kids for some time if you have, but if don't have, then I mean you have to move basically. So that
Yes.
will free up your mind. So I don't know
Yeah.
what are their problems, but obviously, and to be very frank, right, sometimes you feel bored even after doing that, and
Uh-huh.
you don't have any option but to remain patient.
Yeah. 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 I think
So
that's good advice. I think like you said, understand what bothers you and then find a way out, like you found for
and
whiteboarding or just socializing. Just I think moving around helps break a monotonous sort of
and
the
one thing
monotonous.
I
Mhm.
yeah, sorry to. So one thing I
No.
did since the pandemic, that I never missed my exercise. Right, every hour in the
Yeah.
morning I did my yoga,
Yeah.
or probably in the evening running. So what happens that when you have a good physical exercise, or your body needs that stretching and all this exercise, then you actually can sit quietly for some time, because the body needs what it gets, right? So it helps you
Right.
to focus on your work. So that is another thing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of time, if you because I've seen many people during the lockdown, they increase their weight because they
Yeah.
become like less mobile, right? So
Right.
obviously it has happened, and that irritates you further, because all the time you are sitting at one place. So that is
Hmm.
another advice, that you have to do at least hour of exercise, so that it will make your body little lighter and you can sit and you can enjoy your work.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. So while we're still on, while we've now that we've come back to the topic of fitness and moving around, you got into fitness after, you realized you were in fitness. Then you, I think, in one of your interviews for Horizon, you said that you realized that you were going on a path where you realized that your lifestyle was doing more damage to you, and so you got back into fitness through swimming. After you embarked on this fitness journey, what would you say has been some positive changes you've observed in terms of your professional life? How has it helped you in your profession? How has it helped you personally as well? Just embarking on the fitness journey again.
Yeah, so if I go little bit into past, see, basically, during my childhood, I have been always been into active sports and swimming and things like that. But what happened after my association with the corporate life? Slowly, and then you get married, you have kids and family, you have to take care of your family and all this. Over the time, I completely missed my fitness. So there was a time like around 10 years when I did not do anything, and I became overweight. I My cholesterol was high, and things like that. So one day when my health became like out of control, and I literally in one of and working in the office, I
Uh-huh.
literally collapsed for some
Oh
reason.
no.
I don't know what happened. Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
then I really that was an eye opener for me. I thought that
Yeah.
okay, all these years I have been behind this corporate life, but then I
Yeah.
forgot all about myself and my body, right? I mean, the way you have to take care of your health. So
Yeah.
I literally took a break from the corporate life for around 8 months. I did not do
Okay.
anything. Yeah,
Okay.
I just went around. I did my trekking. I went around Kerala. I
Yeah.
read books, and I enjoyed for 8 9 months. I made my health a little better, and then I again joined my previous company, Philips. So between Philips and my previous engagement, I took around almost a year of break.
Wow.
And then I realized that even if I joined any corporate, so when I
Mm-hmm.
joined Philips, I decided that I will start my fitness journey. And that's
Right.
when the thing started. So initially, I mean, always whenever you are not in a good state, you always feel that things are difficult. So my
Yeah.
natural inclination towards swimming helped me a lot. So I
Uh-huh.
started swimming, and then I started taking part in the professional swimming, long distance swimming competition. So
Right.
that's where I meet all the fitness enthusiastic people like Milind
Uh-huh.
Soman and
Wow.
Deepak Raj. Deepak Raj, who is
Uh-huh.
actually Deepak Raj is also kind of a mentor. Who encouraged me to do a triathlon, as well as Milind Soman. So I started
Yeah.
doing a long distance swimming in Goa. I did triathlon, long distance swimming till 5 kilometers. So I
Uh-huh.
started feeling very good about myself that the fitness has no limitations, right? All you have
Right.
to decide that how much fitness you need. And then
Right.
I thought, okay, there is no limitation to fitness. You can always challenge yourself and move ahead.
Absolutely.
It started, then I picked up running and cycling, and then
Right.
I did my Ironman last year, and I was feeling very good about that, because then you feel more confident. And see, the other thing with the endurance sports is that it's a really mind game, right? The mind over
Right.
body.
Right.
So it also helped me in some of the decisions in my career as well, that how to be a more perseverance, right? I mean, how to be more persistent in your journey.
Right.
And I think that's the best part of the physical fitness, that you really have to be focused. And those are some of the soft attributes you learn from the fitness. It's not only
Right.
about the running or swimming, right? Along with the physical activity, you learn all this attributes that you really it will help you in your regular life. So
Right. Absolutely.
started, and yeah, and fortunately I got also the people along in my family and my friends who always helped me to do this. I have a very good friend right now who is also into fitness, and he keeps me fit every day. I mean, 1 hour of yoga with him is always a cherished time throughout
Wow.
my day. Yeah, so
Wow, that's amazing. So I think a really important lesson for everyone who is right, like in their middle ages and chasing a very busy corporate life to really focus on themselves because you better take care of your health now than realizing much later.
I would really advise all the young people, right, that spend a good amount of time on your nutrition and your fitness, and I think in your career also you can become more successful because that's what you keep energized, that's what you keep little young and enthusiastic about all things in life. Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you give us some advice? Can you, so with the new software developers that are joining us, what advice would you give them at the start of their careers in order to do really well as developers going as they progress in their careers?
Yeah. So I will give two advices. One for
Uh-huh.
the developers which are joining newly,
Uh-huh.
as well as the developers who spend a little time in their career, right?
Sure.
And advice is free, so that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, as I told you, I had been developer since my beginning of my career,
Uh-huh.
right? And I also learned over the time, and fortunate enough to get my guru in software engineering. I call it called William Simao. So he's
Uh-huh.
one of the world's top code quality expert, and I got
Uh-huh.
trained under that in my previous company.
Uh-huh.
So the one advice which I give you to the developer who are joining new or who are starting their career is
Uh-huh.
that see in your engineering you will never get taught the basic aspect of software engineering, right?
Okay.
So they will never teach you how to write the code. They will teach you all the algorithms, all the mathematics, all the languages. But the real heart of the any software field is software development is software engineering, right? The way you write the code, and
Uh-huh.
the writing code is it's not only logic, right? It is more of an art than just writing code, writing a readable code, testable code, and that's where you make a difference than the regular software developer. So that's my advice, that you learn all the software engineering aspect, learn how to write the code regardless of any language. That is the most important aspect of any software developer. And there is no subject
Right.
actually in your engineering that how do you write the code.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So and in my various interviews in the campuses that we have been taking from Exxat, there are very few developers who know actually how to write the code, be it in IITs or NITs, right?
Okay.
So that's where uh, I that's my advice, that learn how to write the code, and there are various
Right.
information and avenues available through which you can learn this. And this is the most important aspect, which has been kind of ignored
Right.
in the software engineering. And that's why
Right.
you can find a very few software developers which writes the awesome quality code, right,
Right.
which works and the testability of that code is very high, right?
Right.
So that's my advice.
Right, right. And I remember when you're first introduced to Exact in the town hall, that's the first thing you said to every Exactian in the Pune office as well, that focus on code quality. And since then, for me, Hiren Suchak has become synonymous with code quality. So when I think of you, the first thing that comes to my mind is code quality and then fitness.
I totally agree with that because I some of the lessons you learn in your career with really hard way, right? And this is one of the lessons. So what I observed in my career, that a lot of time developers are in pain, to be very specific pain, right? The stretch with the late nights, they struggle with the solution, they
Right,
struggle with debugging the issue, right?
right.
And then I was thinking that is there any way that a developer also can be has it most of the developers are happy. I'm not saying they are in pain, but I've seen in a lot of time, lot of developers, I've seen them struggle with the
Mm-hmm,
functionalities, with the code quality and things like that.
mm-hmm,
Then I started thinking, then why it is like that, right? How to come out of this pain. And then I realized that the basic heart of engineering is the way you write the code, the way you design your code, the way you make your code very testable.
uh-huh,
Because very simple thing, the developer can write the code, but how can he feel confident that his code is working? That's only one way to feel that confidence, is to test your code, right? And if your
right,
code is not testable, then in spite of you writing any kind of code, efficient code will not give you confidence, right? And it will not, you cannot sleep peacefully because it can break any time unless you test it properly. So the
Correct. Yeah.
testability of the code is the most important aspect, right?
Uh-huh.
And that's where we miss it. We think that writing code is just the execution of the code, but it's not
Mhm.
like that. I mean, the testability of the code is the most important aspect, and
Mhm.
it will make developer the most confident developer if they can do that. So that's an
Right.
advice. Be if you really feel confident about your functionality and code,
Mhm.
write a testable code.
Mhm. 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 Right. Thank you. Thank you for that advice. And I think it'll be very useful for all the existing developers as well as the new ones. So just we'll go on to something lighter now. We have a rapid fire round for you because you have this incredible sense of humor that that we all enjoy. So let's do this. Okay,
Okay.
so what I'll do is I'll give you a word and you will tell me what you associate that word with. Okay, so it'll be a rapid thing. So I'll give you a word and then you tell me what that means for you. Okay, so let's start. Favorite movie?
Shosam Redemption,
Okay, travel destination?
Himalayas,
Himalayas. Exact.
clinical education,
Fitness.
swimming,
V4.
lot to do, lot to do, long path to achieve
Long path.
perfection.
Okay, leadership.
Empathy and uh, subject matter expertise,
Nice. Bugs.
testability,
Code quality.
art.
Awesome. It was really nice chatting with you, Hiren. Thank you for making time. And I hope you have an amazing working holiday in Goa.
Thank you very much, and thanks for this nice initiative,
Sure.
and thanks for the nice interview. And you too
Yeah,
have a
yeah, we
nice.
really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
All right. See you.
Yeah, bye. Have a nice
Bye.
day.
You too. Bye.